All right, you get me. You start.
Like I'm gonna tell y'all now.
Yo, how everybody going today? Oh, they. Yo, how everybody doing today? Hope everyone's having an amazing day. Hope everyone's been vibing, chilling out, and having a good summer. With the end of July coming up, I decided to do a little special video today. This whole video is going to be on mental health, well, not just mental health, but men's mental health. Because there's always a time and place for everything, and for this time and place, it's gonna be all about the guys. It's gonna be all about the fellas. So kick back, kick your feet up, come vibing out. And today I got two special guests, but we got another one. He's gonna be on the way soon. But anyway, I'll wait. Everyone give a little introduction. Who you are?
You can go first, Malachi.
What's good, y'all? Y'all saw me in the last podcast. I'm Malachi. It's nice to be here again. Yeah, thanks for having me.
What's up, y'all? I'm new to the podcast. My name is Jordan. I'm a college student currently studying computer science, and I'm just happy to be here today.
Yeah, all right. And so to start today's question of the day is actually this is a question I got asked by a girl because we in here we was talking about some stuff. And my friend she asked me this question. It got me thinking a little bit. What's the difference between girls changing in front of each other, and guys? Because you know how like girls they can change in front of each other and they ain't gonna be phased. But if you try and change in front of your homeboy, it's gonna be all weird. Like, what's the difference with it?
Hmm. What you mean by changing it?
Yeah.
Like full body change. I mean, like head to toe, toe to head, underwear, boxes on. I
Changing
don't do
clothes?
Oh,
I mean,
changing clothes.
changing fully. I mean, underwear and all. You change in front of your homeboy. Because I don't do that. Because I think it's weird. But like, what y'all think is the difference between a guy doing it and like? Because like with girls, they change in front of their friends. Not all girls, but like, I know they be changing in front of their friends, and they ain't gonna bat an eye about it. But with us, we don't be doing that like that.
Be
I think
honest with you.
I think it's like a sense of privacy type of thing. Like, no.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically, like I wouldn't, for me personally, I don't want to see nobody watching me change unless it's like my girlfriend or someone like that. But if I'm in the room with a dude, like one of us gonna have to go to the bathroom and change something like that because I don't know what it is. I just can't. I'm just not going to change in front of someone else.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, unless it's like switching a shirt out or something, and I have like a vest on underneath, like,
Yeah, of course.
come
If it's
on.
something light, if it's
Yeah.
something light, like changing a shirt, changing something like that, but like taking off my drawers or taking off my shorts, like yeah, I'm not doing that in front of him.
I'm not doing that.
Like nah, yeah, it's the same with me. Like I just think it's weird. I don't want to be seeing no one's Johnson. I don't want to see no one's dangling. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't trying to see none of
I
that.
don't, yeah, I don't be trying to be sore by nobody, none of that type of stuff. Cause I just, it's like, I feel like it's especially matter of fact too. It's a good example. Like my little brother, right? We'll be arguing back and forth sometimes, right? And we'll be saying stuff back and forth sometimes. And then I like be like maybe if I'm trying to get him out of my room, especially if I'm trying to change, I'll be like something, hey, better get my room, or else he's trying to get flashed, right? But he'll be like, all right,
Uh,
bet. Boom, he'll flash me before he'll flash me, and I got like, I got to turn around because I can't even look at none of that. You know what I mean?
yeah, some of the jits around my house, they little for now, so they don't know no better. But
Yeah.
then
It's like when you're a kid, it's like when you a kid, it don't really phase you too much.
Yeah, you don't
But
you
you
got no
know,
sense of privacy as a kid,
yeah, like a sense of privacy of the kid is out the door. You just walk around naked, you use the bathroom wide open like that. You ain't gonna look at them parts as nothing else. But it's like once you hit a certain age, you're gonna look at it, it's gonna be like, oh,
yeah,
like
what are you doing, man? Put that away.
yeah, it'll be like. And even then, one other question I got, because actually I got two questions of the day too. Another
Mm.
question too is like, if you had to choose one word to communicate for the rest of your life, like just that one word, nothing else, what would you use?
like one word to talk.
One word to talk.
Like how Pokemon they use their name to be talking all the time. What you gonna use? Like, well, that one word you're gonna use to communicate everything.
Mm.
It's gonna be something to do with food. I'm gonna be honest. It's gonna have to do something with food.
Yeah.
Food, hungry, something like that. I'm saying it.
I'm gonna say I. You can because you can change up the tones of voice the way you
Yeah,
say it.
right. Well, me, it'd be like A. Like I feel like with me, it'd be like the word A. I feel like that could like be so many things. Like if you're mad, like A. If you happy, A. You
Yeah.
sad, like it's
Yeah,
real
this
versatile.
could be. It's real versatile, except if you use the wrong tone with the wrong person, then something gonna happen. You can't say nothing back.
You
Yeah,
can't say nothing else.
yeah,
That
no,
would,
yeah, I feel I could definitely like I could work around with A for my entire life. If I had to go a whole day or my whole life just saying A, I could use it. Like I could be my wedding day too. I could be my wedding day sitting there. He could be like, "Some, you have any words to say to your wife?" I'd be like, "Some, A," you know. That's all I
Hey,
got right there.
your Val gonna be A and that's it.
hey, hey.
A.
It just A, be like, A, you know. I ain't gotta say no other words. That's it, you know. See, it fits perfect for every single scene. You know, there's nothing that can go wrong with just saying A. You
Hey
know.
Yeah,
man,
until someone pull you over or something like that, you get into some fight. You gotta go, hey.
Yeah, okay. See, that's one thing. You know, you get caught up with that, but you know, I feel like it's versatile enough. You know, or either that or I use my name for everything like that. I just pull a Pokemon move. Just use my name for everything.
Man,
Mhm. But anyways, though, I feel that's a good little place to leave off from. So as a whole, though, with today's video, like I said, it's gonna be on all mental health type stuff. It's gonna be on all mental health type beat. So as a whole, it's gonna be us going to a few different ways. But with this video, I took a little bit of a different angle with it. So what I did in my meantime is that I talked with some friends, like I talked about some girls and everything like that too. And I pretty much had them give me a whole list of questions that they had on the guys and in terms of like guys' mental health on the way we see things, the way we deal with things. So that while we're giving our perspective on stuff like that, we also kind of get it from a girl's perspective too on like, hey, what do they think or like what do they want to ask about a guy and everything like that. You know what I mean? So then it's like we can give all angles to the argument or kind of give all angles to the situation. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. So like, look, I got a few questions. Like the first question I got right here is, and y'all can answer this. I ain't gonna answer it right now. But yeah, for the first question I got is so what is a common let me see. Let me see. So common okay, yeah, here it is. It says so a common misconception that I used to think about guys that y'all didn't cry. So like, what's y'all idea on that about what's your idea about crying as a man?
I would say it ain't um it's not that we don't do it. I feel like what it is that like, you grew up and you perceive like a bunch of dudes on social media and stuff as like really strong. And so you like, oh, that's not the type of dude to cry. And if I gotta, if I'm your perception of being strong is like not crying in front of other people or just not crying at all. So like you try to cut that part out of your life. But in actuality, like, if you really like sad for real, like, crying is just something to do. Like it's something you have to go through.
Yeah, because what you call it? Most people like assume as soon as they say a man doesn't cry, they just assume that they don't see him like ball out or do something in front of other people. Like sometimes some men just walk out of the room, get a little sniffle in, some tears roll out their eyes, and they fix themselves. They walk back in. But then, yeah, just growing up, most people just assume that when they see a man, he's usually big, strong, holds himself well, just sitting around talking pretty good, but they don't see what he does when he's not around y'all. When he gets up for a late night walk, when he goes in the kitchen late at night, when he sits in his car, it's probably where it's happening at, if I'm being honest.
It's definitely a certain thing. When it comes to like crying as a guy, it's like at least the way I see that, it's not like it's not the fact that we don't want to cry. Well, I say that at least for my perspective, it's not the fact that we don't want to cry. It's that it's hard to like cry in certain environments because like me, if I do it around the wrong people, it can give a certain image that oh, he's soft or something like that. You know what I mean? Or it's just like sometimes you just don't want to show that vulnerable element of yourself. You know? Or it could be
Yeah,
the context of it's like maybe you used to show that element of yourself. You used to show that vulnerability. But then it's like, there's maybe a time in your life where it got kind of taken advantage of or it kind of got hurt. And ever since then, you don't really want to show none of that no more. Because at that point, like, people took advantage of it once. What's saying they're not going to do it again? You know what I mean?
right. growing up growing up most of the time around my house, my grandpa, old generation, how they be, just no tears at all. As soon as I started doing that, he just shut it down immediately. But I know sometimes he's gone through some stuff, even though he's gone through some stuff in his room when he thought no one else was home. I'd be hearing him, but they just try and do it in silence or try not to do it around others, because they don't want to be perceived as weak, not manly. That's why it's not really portrayed as much because it's really the stigma, the stereotype going around crying as a man.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, yeah, crying as a man, it's definitely harder to do. But I'll definitely say when you do find that one person that you can cry with, it's definitely like relieving in a way, but also it's definitely a sense of like, okay, then hey, I'll show you this side of me that's like I don't do this with nobody else, like nobody at all. Like with
Right.
me, I can say there's but a set few people in this world that's ever seen me actually cry before. Like even including my parents, there's only like a set of people that's ever seen me cry before. So it's just like, for me to actually like ever show that side of me to a person, it's definitely a big deal on my end. Cause it's like, as a guy, I'm not doing all that all the time. You know what I mean?
Because
Mhm.
as soon as that's crying ain't some emotion you usually bring out with someone on the first day. But
Mhm.
my mom, she's known me most of my life. She see my face. She know I got tears running down my eyes. Whenever she talked to me, she know I'll cry. My girlfriend know I'll cry. No, I've cried with my dad before. He's loving. He's affectionate. He knows about it because he just went through something too. So it's just when I get around my friends, I can't be doing that balling stuff, just losing it all. Some tears can fall down my eyes and they'll comfort me, but it's just like they they Jamaicans and they people really came from Jamaica, and, they usually strong over there. So they didn't really have tears that often unless they were like little.
Mhm. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh yeah. So then the next question I had on this was, so look, I'm reading. So pretty much she said that me and one of the other people that was on the podcast, with Matthew, if y'all remember him, me and Matthew both get our nails done, but she knows that other people, other guys, probably question our masculinity when we do it. So then how do we deal with that? Like on a guy's end, if you gonna go get a manicure, not saying you get your nails painted, not saying there's anything wrong with it too, but I'm not saying I'll get my nails painted and everything like that. But I get a little manicure, you know what I'm saying? Get my feet done, whatever type of stuff to make sure obviously I'm looking good and all right. Then how would y'all deal with that on y'all end? Or maybe if you're the type of guy that goes to get a facial or something like that from a spa or whatever like that, how you deal if someone were to try and challenge your masculinity for doing that.
I mean, what is there to challenge about it? To be honest, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's
Because I got a facial before I went to prom just to get everything out. And to be honest, I'm not really seeing what the point is if you got like if your nails is like next time you go get a manicure or something. I don't know like why some people just be like, nah, you're not manly because you did that. Because I wanted to get my nails looking well, I wanted to get my hands looking right, I wanted to get my toes looking right, I wanted to get my face right. I just never seen the point of that, to be honest with you.
I feel
yeah.
like self-care, I don't know why it's looked at as like a man's self-care is like zesty in a way. Like I would say, if you really like treat your body as like, you care for it and like that's the only one you're gonna have, shoot, I would be right there with the girls getting manicures and pedicures and stuff because like, I want to look my best. If I want to be my best, I gotta look my best.
It's personal preference. If I want to go get it done, I want to go get it done. If you don't want to go get it done, that's fine, man. You just can't get mad at me because I'm doing something different than you.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, personally, me, it's like I like feeling like I look pretty. Like, I mean, shit, sue me for it. I like feeling like I look good. Or or if anything, they relaxing too. Like I know mama, she told me to go get my feet done one time, and it was relaxing. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I'd go do it again. You know what I mean? Because it's nice, make me feel good, and it's just me taking care of my body. Sure, my hands can be rough from working out, doing whatever type of stuff, but they don't be my nails that be black and all hard and stuff. Like I can take care of certain aspects of myself, but still be masculine in a way. You know what I mean?
It's like some of it too. Like I promise you, if like most of the people around, if they just kept it to themselves, they got manicures and pedicures. I mean, most dudes wouldn't even realize. But it's the fact that you saying you getting a manicure and a pedicure that most people just associate that with women. So it's just like, oh, you're doing a female thing. Oh, you're less masculine than me because you're doing a female thing. Like I promise you, if I didn't tell you I got a manicure, pedicure, you wouldn't even notice. To be honest, I could have told you I worked in tech and you wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, that's really what it be too. Like there's definitely certain things where it's like even in halftime, people want to make a big deal of it when you actually bring it up. You know what I mean? Like yeah, like I said, like just because I got my feet done, don't mean I'm gonna be walking around with sandals and flip flops all the time. I just got it done because maybe my feet was looking a little bit rough, so I had to get them trimmed up. I had to get them done. You know what I'm saying? Maybe my nails looking all busted up, but like you said, you ain't gonna notice it until I bring it up. And that's one time when someone gonna be like, something, "Oh, you fruity? You got like you got gloss in your fingernails, something like that, because you get your fingernails on you fruity or type of stuff." It's like, I'm just taking care of my body, really. That's all it is.
Got one of them, got to take care of it. So
Exactly. Because then you gonna be looking all busted up, gonna be looking like that uncle with like crooked toenails and everything like that, yellow fingernails and all that type of stuff.
I ain't
Gonna be
trying to
looking
be
like
nothing
them
like
at
that.
the fit cookout. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be looking like that personally. That's all me. But all right, so the next question I had too was men are looked up as the strong one in the household. How do you guys feel about it, you know? And shouldn't it be okay for a man to have one bad day?
Yeah, Bryce, you
I
there?
mean,
Mm,
yeah, my fault, y'all. Like I said, I don't know if Cam told y'all with the podcast, but I was in like the car with my parents. The event that we had to do this morning took way longer than expected. But
uh,
me
yeah, Bryce,
personally,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Bryce, we can't understand what you. I don't know if y'all can understand what he's saying, but we can't understand what you're saying, Bryce.
I understand a
What
little
you
bit
All
like?
of
right,
it.
all right, wait, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know,
Okay, but so basically, I was just in the car with my parents. That's the only reason why I didn't show up to the podcast on time. But to answer the question, I feel like that with the family that I grew up in, I still believe that the man is like the strong one in the house, but they don't necessarily have to, I guess, be like the breadwinner per se. I feel like when you have like a man in the house, not saying that women can't do it, not saying that if you have a family that as a girl you can't do this yourself, but I feel like that you need to have like a balance, like you need to have like a sense of duality. And I feel like that having like men in the house, like that have like, in my opinion, like correct standards, correct morals. And I mean, you could be atheist, you could be whatever like religion you believe in or philosophy, but as long as you have a duality between both, like between both, I guess philosophies and both ways of life, I feel like that's why like you need like men in the house. And I mean, of course, men can have like bad days all the time, like because I mean, we're at the end of the day, we're all human. We're not machines that just produce work and produce money. Like we're people. Like we have feelings, we have, bad days. We have moments where we want to cry. And I mean, it's okay. That's where you have, therapy and things of that nature, like you said before, with self-care, being able to be open to that. And also just being able to like break down like not generational curses, but like, break down what you break down or unlearn some of the things that you might have learned in your childhood. Cause like y'all were saying with the nails and stuff like that. I mean, I'm kind of having to break that down right now because I mean, me personally, I'm just getting close enough to the point where I'm comfortable with getting like my nails done, and that's kind of done with unlearning with my father, because my father is very like I'm not gonna say he's a macho strong man, but my dad never did that. Like his dad never did that. They thought it was gay when they were growing up. And I mean, they grew up in like the hood, like Detroit and all that. So, because of stuff like that in their environment, they never like did that. But obviously, I never had that environment. But because my parents did, they kind of pushed that into me. So just unlearn them type of things, you know, is essential. So my bad for the long-winded answer, but yeah, that's what I think.
I mean, along with the answers, what we're really looking for. I mean, hey, you put it down right there because I mean, you was right with everything you said. Really, I mean, with being a man, it's like pretty much the moment if a guy's in a relationship with her, if a guy's in a relationship, whether it's with another guy, girl, whatever type of this stuff it is, at some point, or at least in that relationship, you're going to like take the mantle as being the strong one in that relationship. Because as a guy, that's what we made for, really, in a way. I mean, from an honest sense, that's what we're made for. But that doesn't mean that, like you said, it don't mean we gotta be machines, you know. As a man, especially if you're the man of a house, if you have a family, whatever it is, even if you an older brother, or even sometimes if you're a younger brother, once you hit a certain age, you have to end up being the strong one in some sort of way because it's like that's just kind of the inheritance that you got to kind of take up, and it's a struggle, I definitely say, because like no one's perfect. But the way I see it as too is like, to be strong as a man doesn't mean just physically, You can be physically, you don't gotta be the strongest, but it's also like mentally, you gotta be the one to hold down the fort. Like if
Yeah.
it's let's say your girl crying or something like that, right? You gotta be the one in that moment that you know how to hit, you know how to handle it all. You know how to like be there for her, whether it's maybe shedding tears with her, whether it's comforting
Mhm.
her, whether it's just handling whatever business you gotta handle. You know what I mean? Like you do what
Yeah.
you to take care of the situation. A good example of which is like I was talking with my grandfather a little while ago, right? And I was
Hmm.
talking with him, and he was like, then we was talking about some stuff. Cause actually, I was having a rough day, and me and him we was talking about some stuff. 'Cause I just needed someone I needed to talk with and everything. And then one thing he told me about too, I think he told me about being strong. He gave my dad an example where it's like he said there was a situation where in the past apparently there was a guy. I think it was before he even met my dad, right? He said
Hmm.
apparently I guess my mom had a thing with some guy and everything like that before her and my dad were actually serious like that. And he said apparently it's like the guy laid hands on her in some sort of way, right? And then he said that he said that apparently according to my mom's that before she told him, like my mom told my dad about it. My dad, no words, he just went, handled the situation, and he never heard from the dude again, nothing like that. So it's like situations like those where, as a man, you gotta have the moments where you gotta know how to handle the situation. If you gotta go bash someone's head in, not saying I condone violence, but if violence is needed, you gotta go bash a few heads in. Do what you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? If you gotta go protect your people, you gotta go do what you gotta do, hold down for it. You do what you do as a guy. But in the end, if you have a bad day, if you have a day where you gotta fall apart, then that no one's ever gonna stay strong all the time.
Oh, for sure.
Mhm.
My brother says. Yeah.
So
Oh,
then
yeah. When Malachi, y'all can go. I'm just letting y'all know y'all can go. Y'all
yeah.
need to.
So then the next question we had too is men have feelings too. Should we start normalizing guys expressing their feelings? How do guys deal with the judgment they get being called too soft to have their masculinity questioned when they express their feelings?
Mm.
feel like
Personally,
that differs from person to person because like some people just have like higher mental fortitude than other people. But we kind of covered this a little bit in the last podcast, where it was just like, especially with the judgment part, you gotta just kind of remind yourself that you know you're him. So it's like
Talk to him.
extent you can't let that type of hatred seep into your head because that's when it starts getting really bad for you.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And yeah, it definitely is, depends on person to person. Like for me, if I'm doing my own thing, everything like that, and someone try to question my masculinity, I just kind of joke around it. I just like brush it off, you know what I'm saying? Because like for example, if someone were to say that, oh, let's say I was to do something like that. Let's say I would do something that maybe like a girl would say something. Oh, ain't that a little bit fruity? Ain't that a little bit gay? And then maybe sometimes I've had moments where maybe like for example, maybe like the way I act with some stuff sometimes. They'll be like some, oh, a guy ain't supposed to be doing that or something like that. And I'll be like some, this is just me vibing out. Maybe it's just me just literally vibing out. I'm not trying to act all masculine. I'm just trying to have my fun, do my thing. I'm just in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So then the girl gonna be like, "Some, oh, well, you acting like a whole little fruit, everything like that. You acting a little bit gay, everything like that." I be like, "Son, I'm the father from gay." Because sometimes I say a few different things where it's like, for example, let's say a girl were to say something like that. I'll be like, "Something, yeah, okay, yeah, but I mean, like, not even 20 minutes ago, I was your friend, and she definitely knew I wasn't gay. She was definitely showing me some stuff. It's definitely a little bit thing. It can vary around. Sometimes I give a few different answers depending on the person, and it all depends on how you handle it. Like me, I can handle it by just doing like showing things that it shows for a guaranteed fact. I know what I am. I'm just securing who I am as a person. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
right?
Like, if
It's like, ooh, my bad. Keep going. Go ahead.
I'm good, you say what you gonna say.
Or what you call it? Yeah, because sometimes, like back then, most like back in 2020, I think is when it really started that we surely should let men, express their feelings and all different things like that. And I think it's regressed a lot. The main reason I think it's regressed is I don't think most people know that the good with expressing your feelings also comes with, the bad. And as soon as they start seeing the good, they be like, oh, the good is nice. But when they start seeing the bad, they take it and they run with it. And now we got all these women and all the different people around. As soon as a man expresses his feelings in the bad way, they start calling him sassy, or in a way they don't expect, they call him sassy and different things of that. And I was like, okay, that's crazy because weren't y'all like the ones 4 years ago saying more, men need to express themselves more? And then also, it's like it changes so much because I remember back then, when I was in, I think it was either early high school or in middle school. This was like before the whole dreads wave and trend came about. So I was like the only one. I didn't even have dreads back then in middle school. I had braids. I had something. I had knotless braids or something like that because I just had long hair and I didn't want to get rid of it. So I had braids and then I switched to dreads. But then a lot of comments I got just like, bro, you don't feel a bit gay with that hairstyle, bro. Like you don't want to just cut it off and go low cut. Just like, nah. I mean, it's not even my hair that's defining me. Like you think just because that girl got long hair, that girl got long hair, that I'm gonna just start liking dudes now because I got long hair. Like, no, bro, I like my hair. This doesn't define me. And nowadays, those same guys got dreads and long hair. So it was just, what was the point of doing all that? But it's like, it's going to change and most people are going to go for the bad more than they go for the good. So I think men should really start expressing their feelings more. And some people comes a point you got to accept the bad with the good. And generally, I don't even believe it's bad. I think it's just human. It's just human.
That's really what it is. It's definitely no problem with expressing your feelings sometimes, or just letting your feelings just like show and run free. For like a good example too is like maybe if I'm playing with my little cousins, like maybe my female cousin, if I'm playing with her and everything like that, and maybe let's just say she wants me to dress up as this and that and everything like that. I'm not gonna be like, oh no, I'm a guy, I ain't gonna be doing all that. No, I'm gonna get my ass in that damn tutu and I'm gonna go play princess with her. I
Right,
don't
bro.
I'm gonna do my thing. And I'm gonna eat it up too. I'm gonna do my whole little bit. You know how many Barbie songs I got memorized in my head? You know how many songs I've had to sing? I know every single song in Frozen, front to back, left to right, doing them all. Like, this is like certain times where it's like it's okay to express that side of you. Or
Yeah,
even then
that's
as a
it.
whole as especially on the terms of expressing your feelings, especially when it comes to anger as being a guy, I definitely say that's a very big thing that guys have to sometimes be okay with expressing out, but know how to do it in a healthy manner. Because being angry don't mean you got to go punch people and do all this and that. Like as a guy, I definitely say expressing our anger, which guys can get angry a good few times, even with their own girl, with their own friends, everything like that. Expressing your own anger is important because especially as a guy, if begins to bottle up more and more and more, it can come out in a real unhealthy way, or it can come out in a real destructive way. You know what I mean? Because like one thing one thing I remember, my thing with my mom that told me one day is that the most dangerous thing you can sometimes see is like an angry woman, that like an angry girl that's like, because if she really wants to get at you, she can really get at you certain ways. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, a guy who holds in all them feelings, a guy who holds in everything and lets it all at once can be a dangerous person because that's a lot of things coming in at once. And obviously, with a guy oftentimes being more physically adept in certain ways, all that anger, and like a stronger person that can do some really messed up things, it can cause some real destruction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why it's really healthy that parents start teaching their sons more often to instead bottle up their anger. They be like, keep that shit to yourself. Like, stop doing all that. They really should use it to you tell them they need to channel it somewhere else because I remember when I used to get angry as a child, I used to be throwing shit, different things of that nature. And then my mom would just usually stand there. At first, it was my mom and my grandpa because my grandpa knew I wasn't going to charge at him. But then it just started becoming my mom, and I knew I wasn't going to charge at her. So she just sat there, just like, "Are you done?" I was like, "Yeah." And she knew I had to get my anger out somewhere else. So usually I just did a little bit. She got me a stress ball, so usually I just did that to get my anger out. But now when I get angry, it's just like whenever I get angry with a person, it's just like the first thing that comes to my mind is not I'm gonna hit him because even if even if I do, it's not gonna go well for me because see what I look like. I'm a dark skinned male with dreads. That's food for the media.
Yeah, that's a walking stereotype right there. They don't eat it up. Yeah. Yeah,
eat
no,
it up immediately.
Yeah, I say on mine, it's definitely like on the time. I say this, I'm not even gonna claim it as if I'm perfect at managing my anger now. Like it's a lot. It's a bad. It's thing with me. I still have the bad habit where it's like I'll get angry, I'll get pissed off as hell, but I'm not gonna show nothing. Like I can be pissed off. I can be like like pissed off to the point where I'm ready to do some crazy ass stuff. But I could be joking around, laughing at people like that. I could be real pissed off with one specific person, and I could be right next to them. But I ain't gonna say nothing. Like I can be joking around with another person directly next to them, and I ain't gonna say a word, nothing like that. It's just I have a bad habit of bottling it up. So I can definitely say it's definitely like it's not good, or it can really eat away at you when it's like you have that anger just bottling up more and more and more and more and more. Because then
Right.
it's better to healthily express it out rather than just hold it in for so long. Because it can go one or two ways then. Because for
Right.
one, it can go one way where, like I said, it can come out in a real destructive way. Because then it can maybe come out in a way where maybe you was real angry with that person and you haven't bottled it up, and maybe that person don't know that you actually get they don't know that you're getting them angry. Like they don't know that they're getting you angry. You're bottling it up more and more, but because they don't know, they're gonna keep on doing the same thing. So then maybe they're doing it, not even doing it with no ill intent. They're just doing it just to like because they're having fun, whatever type of stuff. So the one moment they're having fun, then one thing leads to another your foot 15 inches up their ass because they mess around. Now you beating on them and everything like that. You know what I mean? Or
Yes.
it
True
can go the
that.
other way where it's like it can go the other way where it's like that anger you leave it bottled up, but maybe that person is out of your life now, whatever. But that anger is still inside of you, so it's still eating away, just corrupting you more and more and hurting you bit by bit because you don't have anything to do with it now, or it's just sitting inside of you there, and it's not helping you in no type of way. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So, yeah. So
We
then the
just
next
gotta
question,
get it out.
definitely what it is.
For
So then the
sure.
next question I had on here was how do men deal with getting cheated on? And yes, women cheat too. I have some good things to say about this, but I'll let y'all say this first.
Uh,
To be honest.
I can't tell you I have any experience on this. I'm not going to speak from a fake perspective. Like I couldn't tell you, that ain't me.
Yeah, it ain't me
I
either,
never
to
been
be
cheated
honest.
on. So
The
so
closest I've never been cheated on, but one of my exes did do some crazy stuff, and nowadays I forgive her because I guess I can see her point of view, which is we were in a relationship for a little bit, and then we got up to high school with it, and we broke it off for just reasons I can't even remember to this day. But she still kept me around for a little bit because we thought we were going to rekindle it. But as soon as she got to high school and she realized she didn't want to rekindle it, I actually found out just later on that day I was in my math class, and one of the girls that was mutual, like I knew her in elementary school and she knew my ex in middle school. She came up to one of the boys and said, "Are you such and such new boyfriend?" And then she said something that completely, it just still blows my mind to this day that anyone would say this to a person. She said something like, "Wow, she could have done better." I was like, "Damn." And then I'm still stuck on the point, like, wait, new boyfriend? Wait a minute. And
Personally,
then,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but personally, you say she could have done better. I'm not gonna hold you. I gotta air it out at that point. Oh my
yeah,
god!
bro,
yeah,
I
Like,
was like, damn.
look, everybody in that bitch dying because look, all these like I'm sorry that
Yeah,
would
she
hurt.
she did it in front of the full class too. Like the teacher was still outside the door. The classroom was full, and it's like
probably turned
the
the break.
bell is ringing.
She was
I
probably like a too.
I was like, oh my God, I got to get through this math class. And then it's like later on that day, though, I'm on Snapchat, which is like what everyone was still on back then. I'm
Yeah,
looking, and my ex, she posting stuff like, you can't treat niggas like nothing. Like niggas would just take your heart and break it. And I was just sitting here, damn, wait, he broke up with her for that? Ah,
Hey
ah, damn,
man.
that's crazy. Dang, I ain't
damn.
gonna hold. That's crazy.
But she I ain't gonna say too much, but I was a nice person back then, so I was just like, hey, what happened when I know good and damn well what happened because I was sitting right behind the nigga when she when she went up and said she could have done better. But I was like, hey, what happened? Just like such and such broke up with me because what such and such said. I was like, really? Oh, how did I miss that? But it's just like we had something and she just like threw it away as soon as she got to high school. So I was just like, man, I'm just going with my life because if I fester on this for too long, it's gonna destroy me as a person and I'm gonna lose my whole sense of direction. So
Yeah,
really just had to get myself back on track.
I can understand that. So I'll say for me, from my perspective, I've been on two sides of the coins. I've been the cheater and the cheatee. I've been on both sides. The cheater side, not proud of it, but that's the past. Did make my mistakes. But to answer the question, I'll definitely say we're getting cheated on. It's definitely like it's not good. I'll definitely say it's at least for me. It's definitely like it's stages to it. I'll say it's like there's that initial feeling where it's like, dang, that hurt, that dirty whore. Like you're gonna be hurt at first.
Yeah,
Then the next phase where it's like straight. First, like the stage is like denial. No, I think the stage of denial it was something like that. I forgot what it's called. But then there's that little bit of anger where it's just like you pissed off. You want to take off some heads. There's that phase where it's like you want to take off some heads. You want to do whatever type of stuff. You real pissed off. Then there's that other part where it's like then it's like trying to really wrap your head around the fact of dang. I thought she was this. I thought she was that. I thought she was everything for me, and now this. These hoes ain't nothing. It's definitely there's definitely them feelings with it. And then to say acceptance, it's hard to even accept it. It's hard even for me. Like for me, it's hard to even say that I can just accept it. Like with me, my situation that I've had, at least I'll say I'll say the situation that was most similar to this, similar to it. It was similar to your situation with the S thing. I say the situation for me that was most similar towards it was with a previous relationship that I had where it's like obviously coming into college we broke it off and everything like that, you know what I mean? And with
right.
them, when we broke it off, I mean we went our separate ways, but we know at least on my end I knew there was still heavy feelings for it, you know what I mean? I said like I definitely like there was definitely a mindset where it's like part of it did want to go back to it and everything like that, or like we left off on good terms.
Right.
And we left off on the time and being like some, hey, we go our separate ways, we talk to our own different people, do our own different things. But at the end of the road, if we done lived our lives and live like that, and it's looking like we can come back, then hey, we come back, we go from friends to like back to what it was before, right? So cool. But then one thing led to another, then turned out, and then at least from what I saw on my side of everything like that, was that she was apparently messing around with my homeboy behind my back. Or at least like there was some stuff going on with her and my homeboy behind my back. And that's when it's like, and that was like a long time friend of like 7, 8 years, you know what I mean? So that's when like, in that situation, there was a lot of feelings with it. A lot. Like good. The amount of anger, I'd definitely say it definitely had a feel. It's like it had the feeling of getting cheated on. I never want to say that I really did. With that situation, I don't want to say I just straight up did get cheated on because in the end, the relationship was over. I'll say that it was over with. But there was a lot of feelings still there, a lot of feelings still there, and everything like that. And it was more so just the fact of where it's like out of all the sea of Negroes, black, white, Hispanic, everything in the world, hey, my homeboy of all people, like it was like out of all the millions of niggas in the world, that had to be that one person, the one that had the closest link to me. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely had. I definitely say I'd be lying if I said it had the feeling of almost getting cheated on like that. You know what I'm saying? And it definitely had the feelings of like it was again. It was an initial phase of sadness, then blind anger, then a bit more anger because I ain't gonna say it was even denial. No, it was more anger. Then it went on to denial. Being like, dang, I thought she seemed perfect. Everything seemed fine. I would have never thought. So I definitely say which dealing with those feelings is definitely just like, especially as a guy, dealing with those feelings it's hard. I mean, it's hard because I say with a lot of guys too, they get cheated on. There's definitely that feeling like you want to just break down almost in tears because especially if you actually care about the person too, you want to just break down in tears. And there's oftentimes that moment where you do break down in tears, but it's like you don't want to show that to people again. Like linking back, not showing your feelings as a male. It's that dealing with the fact of like, hey, I want to ball out, I want to wall out, I want to do this and that, but I can't really do all that, you know. For girls, I'll say for girls it's easier because like if a girl gets cheated on, there's a good chance she want to have her whole friend group be like, "Some, nah, that boy was nothing. You know, these boys ain't nothing, girl. We gonna take you to the club. We gonna get you messed up. We got you, girl." But with guys, it's a bit harder because if I was to my homeboys that, oh, hey, I got cheated on this and that, the support will be there, but it's not always the same as it could be with girls. You know what I mean? Or it's hard to even want to admit the fact that it's hard to even want to admit the fact that, oh dang, she cheated on me, because then it's also like, dang, like I'll say like on one end, but it's also that one end too where I don't know how many other guys always feel it, but also that other possible end of guys feeling the thought of like, oh, am I not enough as a guy? You know what I mean? Like, am I not enough as a person? You know what I'm saying? Like that's definitely that feeling where it can kind of arise in a little bit.
Yeah. Me
So
and my homie Bryce, that he was just here, but he can quote me on this if he ever comes back. I had a saying. I said until there's a ring on this finger, she ain't yours. She's not fully yours.
That
So
that's a good one right there too. I ain't gonna hold you. That's really kind of how it is. You know what I mean? Like especially with how things are a little bit now. I'm not one person. I'm not the type of person to always just say, "Oh, let's just now ain't the same, let's that," or "Oh, girls ain't nothing nowadays." I ain't gonna say that because I mean, I gotta get married one day. Probably I want to get married one day, so I can't even be on that type of timing. But I definitely say with the way things are living now, it's definitely a little bit harder to just straight up say that, she's mine and nobody else's. You know what I mean? Because you can say, I could say, oh yeah, she's mine, she's my girl. But then there's a dude in another state texting her on the side, be like, oh yeah, she's mine, that's my girl, yeah. There's the old dude over in Alaska saying, oh yeah, she's mine, that's my girl, yeah, she gonna visit me next month. Then this dude living right next door that's texting FaceTime with her saying, "Oh yeah, that's my girl." You know what I'm saying? Like it's easier for things to be like that a little bit. So it's definitely like with that element of it. It's I say for whatever girls watch this and like that. For guys, girls, whoever watching this, it's definitely a thing where it's like when it comes to cheating on a guy, it's a real big betrayal, because guys, you don't always let everyone into your doors like that. You don't always let everyone into your, or even if you do let people into your doors, there's always that set few people that you actually are close with like that. Like me, there's a good people that I can be open with to a certain degree, but there's only a select few people in this world that I'm actually ever gonna show 100% my feelings, my tears, my all that. You know what I'm saying? So to betray that trust can do a lot of number on a guy, and it's hard for a guy to process that. You know what I mean? And I can't even give a specific way on how you can really process it because it's like it's no guaranteed way to really process it. I'll say it just depends on how you are as a person. But the biggest thing is just to make sure you don't lose yourself. You don't want to get one thing you don't never want to turn into is you don't want to turn to that guy that after you get cheated on that then you that guy saying, "Oh yeah, girls ain't nothing. Yeah, these hoes ain't nothing." Nah, you don't want to turn to an Andrew Tate, you know what I'm saying?
Don't.
You never want to turn to that.
That's bad off rip because now this is bad because you see if you go outside you're gonna see women 50% of the time and that hatred's always gonna pop up and then you're just gonna make a day worse and worse and worse. You can't just go like, oh well, I'm gonna just crash out on them. You're gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
So let's stop right there. You gotta take a moment. You gotta heal because another relationship isn't gonna help you if you're gonna have the same mindset. So you gotta take a moment by yourself. You gotta realize that some of the what happened to you was wrong, of course, but the way you react to it is how it's really gonna define you as a person later on. And that relationship, it's unfortunately over. You know, it's
Mm.
unfortunate you have to grieve that relationship, but you as a person still gotta go on and that relationship cannot be a part of you every step of the way. And the reason you just hate half of the population.
Definitely what it is. 'Cause, yeah, I think I said about this in another video. I think I can't remember if I said it or not. But it's like you gotta take into a fact that it's like, yeah, and while that one girl may have been all this to you, you gotta remember there's a lot of women in this world. I mean, at most places you go, at like if for example, at most schools you go to, a lot of places, there's a lot of times the amount of women is gonna outnumber the men. Like, 2-1, 3-1, whatever it is. There's gonna be someone for you. You know what I mean? There's someone for you in this world. So it's like to end everything and to crash out that badly over one person. Not saying I'm not going to invalidate a guy's feeling. I'm the last one to ever invalidate someone's feelings. You know what I mean? Because I can't say I can't be saying all that. But even I know myself, I still have some feelings regarding past relationships and everything like that. You know, I still have certain feelings regarding them, negative feelings. You know, but to crash out and throw away everything for that one situation, that's a bit much. And again, as a guy, it's like it's a burden and a positive that as a guy, you gotta remember, like in the end, you still have that liberty that you kind of gotta remain strong. As unfair as it may be, you can't crash out the same way a girl would compared to a guy. You know, like the way a girl may crash out when she gets cheated on. As a guy, we can't do the same. You know what I mean?
You can't stoop down to the level because
Yeah.
we're men. We got a tighter noose around us. If we go down that path, it's not looking good for us in the justice system.
Exactly. You know, you're gonna be locked behind bars looking all crazy. They're gonna be at what you got in for? And it was like, I shot my ex. They ain't gonna be a good look.
They, they're
Look at
not
all.
going. They don't do none of that abusing stuff in jail. The only
Yeah, that
people in jail that are respected are anyone who doesn't have anything to do with minors, SA, or just beating women's, because that's just bad in general. Now that looks crazy on you because there's no way for them to find out if you're lying or not. So they're gonna take what you say at face value.
yeah. So yeah, take that. Like when in doubt, if not anything else, remember that if you do have the idea of crashing out over getting cheated on, just know you got some pretty little jail time possibly looking in your future. And they ain't gonna take lightly to it at all, you know?
Probably an ass beat coming your way too.
Yeah, exactly.
What
No,
a
they're
one.
gonna put if anything, they're gonna smack that soap out your hand and really do some stuff, you know? But
Yeah,
I like you and I want you. Now we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours.
Well, I don't think you and I will be doing anything any kind of way.
Okay, I see you choosing the hard way.
Okay, cut. This isn't working. Someone get this guy out.
Don't make me ruin that bike,
No,
Chris. I'm
please.
a warrior.
yeah,
yeah,
man.
so,
You can't go. You just gotta keep control at that point. It's unfortunate, but for now, we just have to stay strong for it.
I feel like the moral here is, and it's a PSA to everyone who ever watches this, just be 100 with your partner. That's really all you got to do. Be 100 with your partner. Be honest, be open,
You're
and
not
love
yeah.
going. You're not gonna stay faithful. You better let them know, like, hey, I'm not here for a relationship, so they can decide what they want to do at that point.
Yeah.
Or if the relationship isn't healthy, if it's an abusive relationship, because here's the thing, abusive relationship can go two ways. Now, this is my fellas. This is for the fellas and the ladies. You can be like the ladies, you may not be physically abusing the guy, but you may be mentally abusing him. So like, there's a lot like guys, while we do stay strong, there's definitely things that can really get to us. You know, you constantly mess with him about this and that, you constantly making certain comments about this and that can really get to a guy mentally. So that's really some mental abuse at that point. So and on the other guy, on a guy's end, yeah, hitting a girl ain't cool. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I am a person to say that if a girl's really like, if she's really swinging on you, like swinging, that's one thing. And I'm not gonna say start wailing on her, but it's like to hit a girl in
Defend
general, right?
yourself. Don't take it too far now.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the type of person to even condone hit on a girl unless it's like last measure. You try and push her away, that ain't working. You try and grab her, keep it under control, that ain't working. And she really throwing hoes at you, like, oh, she got a weapon or something like that. Then, throw your little right hook, left hook, meet, do your little thing, then you cool. But, you know what I'm saying? As a whole, on both sides, as it's like abuse can go both ways on guys and girls. So it's like there's that other thing too, where you gotta make sure, like I said, if be 100 with each other too, be also take aware in the situation that you're in. Like if you're a guy and you're in a situation with a girl, maybe with a crazy girl, you know that she will shoot you if you try and leave her. Like she will shoot you, baby trap you, or hit you with her car, or do something crazy. Then take don't be so prideful to not bring it to attention. If you know your girl is crazy enough to do something that's going to possibly kill you if you try and leave her, tell somebody. You know what I mean? Like I've ran into some crazy women before. It's scary. Crazy women are scary. I'd be lying if they say they aren't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've had a girl try and baby trap me one time too. And trying to get baby trapped is not fun at all. So, you just gotta be aware enough to actually try to notify someone about if something's going on with you as a guy. Guys and girls are like, be a note if someone's trying to really get at you a certain way and you do not know how to get out of that situation without it possibly hurting you more. don't be too prideful to say something, especially on the fella side. Don't be too prideful to think,
Yeah,
oh, I'm a guy, I can't get abused. Oh, I'm a guy, I can't listen to that happen to you. Yes, you can, because you're a guy, but you're still human. You know, you ain't Superman. You can't take bullets.
it can happen, and it will if you let it. So let's just try and throw the pride to the side for a bit. Think logically as a person, am I able to do something about this without this looking bad? And if not,
Yeah,
tell
really
someone
do.
immediately.
Yeah, please. So then, but the next question I had, I think this is about the last one too. This is a long one. So the question says, y'all face different confidence issues than women. Women's confidence issues tend to be more superficial, based on looks, but for men it's a little different. What do y'all face, and how do you deal with it? How do men keep their confidence up?
Um,
Oof.
oh, you go.
Mhm.
Uh, I was just thinking for a second. You can go, Malachi.
I was gonna say, well, they're right. Like the person asking the question, like in a sense, they're right, but it's also like we can face the looks side of it too. Especially like Jordan was saying before, like when he was a young black man with dreads, and he that's like the hairstyle that he grew up with. Like things fall in and out of fashion, so it's like you can try to keep up with the times, and you might lose yourself, or you might lose a sense of identity in trying to do that. And so like I would say it's not much about like uh feeling good about like feeling good about how you look and stuff. It's being comfortable in your own skin. That, to me at least.
Right. And I do also want to say, what you call it? Some men do face some body issues, but it stems deeper from that because I've known a couple of my friends, actually one of my cousins, me and him both were very skinny, just like very I'm still skinny now, but he bulked up, he got some muscle on him and many different things of that. And I know some other people who were well, they classified themselves as overweight, so they decided to lose weight and get toned. And after a while, me and a little when I was a little younger and I was a little more ignorant, I was thinking, oh man, they feel good about themselves now. Like they're buff, they're toned, everything's this and that nature. But then I started seeing some things about body dysmorphia. And I was like, what is that? I looked it up and then it was like it's usually basically y'all know what body dysmorphia is, right? Or do so it's just say it again, Cam.
When I just put up a little definition of it in the video, it's all
All
good.
right. Yeah, but if just their body dysmorphia, it's like they can't ever feel like they're good enough for their own skin. And
Right.
it's just really just because of how they felt younger, they just want to look better and better and better because they just to them it feels like it's not enough. And I got nothing to say that they got their own struggles and I'm never gonna take away from what they're feeling like. But then also growing up as a man, um, what you call it? My dad, he wasn't around as much as he is now usually. Like I would get the occasional call. He still loved me, but he had another family. So most of his time was going to them, and I don't blame him for that. But growing up, uh, there were many different role models I had. I had my grandfather, I had my stepdad, and then I had a couple of coaches and different things of that nature. And I'll tell you right now, they two of them were different than one another. My grandfather, he didn't talk. He doesn't talk much. He's usually a very stoic person. Which since that's a new word, stoic. He doesn't talk much. He just gets the things done. He can't sit around for too long. He just always has to be something done. And that's like what is it? That's he's basically a traditional man. Like the breadwinner goes out while my grandma's a stay-at-home mom, and he did all the things of that nature. But stepdad, he did all of those things, but he was more in tune with our generation, like partying, club going, all this and that. He wasn't doing it as often, but now he wasn't doing it as often as nowadays, but he still taught me a bit of different things of that nature. And then I had a mentor recently who was different than both of them. And at that point, I don't know if other men go through this, but at that point, if you don't have one set figure, which is usually your father figure, you usually try and split between four different people, so you feel like you're accepted, you feel like you're fit in by some male figure. So at that point, they're split in four different places, trying to keep all their arms and legs on four different islands, trying to stay afloat and trying to fall into something of nothing. And if one of those slip, they dip their hand into nothingness.
Yeah, it's not really be because this is definitely I can't relate as much to having split father figures and everything. I have had different male role models in my life. I've had a few, but I can't relate to your situation as much. But on the element of like having confidence and everything, I can definitely heavily relate to that because it's definitely a situation where it's like, as a guy trying to keep your confidence, it's probably one of the most integral things with with trying to be a guy in life, when it comes to whether or not you're in a relationship, how you handle your own friendships and everything like that, how you handle a lot of things. Having confidence as a guy is definitely one of the biggest few things above anything else, at least in my eyes, at least, because it's like, you can be skinny, you can be real skinny and everything like that, but if you have confidence, you can get a lot of things done. You can be real short, but if you're confident in what you do and you have that confidence, you can command respect. You know what I mean? You can have that element of yourself.
Right.
And
But
we're trying to get with physical futures. I definitely say guys may not take them into account as heavy as girls, but I'll say there are some guys that actually do take them into account as much as girls do. So I'm never gonna say they don't, but I'll definitely say you don't see it as heavily as it may be with girls. But I will say that guys, they do take account in physical features. They take them into account just in different ways. They like for certain ways, like a guy may take into
right.
account is like, oh, hair, you know what I mean? Hair. Oh, am I ugly? You know what I'm saying? Girls be thinking I look good. With girls or guys be thinking I look good with whoever you're into, you know what I'm saying? Oh, physically wise, am I ripped? You know what I'm saying? Do I have muscles? Am I like my build and everything like that? You know what I'm saying? My all that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
on the other hand, too, one thing I think I spoke about it in one of the previous videos, I think I joked around about it a little bit. Malachi, you might remember, but it's like, guys talking about something, dang, my Johnson small, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
certain things like those. There'd be
Yeah.
different things that can come to play when it comes to the confidence of a guy and like what really can decide how you see yourself as. But then on the other hand, too, it also comes to like your masculinity. That plays into how much confidence you have. Because just because you're maybe a guy that has more feminine qualities doesn't mean you're not a masculine guy. You know what I'm saying? It just means you may be a flip flop between it. Me, I'll definitely say because I was raised on a whole bunch of girls, I definitely say I got my some. I sometimes got my feminine qualities and something like that. Sometimes that certain stuff is just habit. Other stuff is just what I be with. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that I'm gay. Nothing. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with it. But I'm not saying that I'm gay. Not saying that I'm like that. But it just means I have those qualities that I just have that come out of me because I was raised on a whole bunch of women. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then having to deal with that growing up, it definitely did impact my confidence because it was like, you have some other guys where they was raised around straight brothers all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like I kind of had to gain that level of masculinity, which did impact my confidence growing up because it was like, dang, I feel like I ain't even half a man, it's half the other dudes.
Right.
But yeah, but in being that, it's definitely a situation where you got to kind of realize yourself that confidence is like to each their own, really, to each their own with their own confidence. However you get your confidence, however you get it. Me, I'm able to find my confidence because of the fact that I'm confident in my own masculinity. I'm all altogether, I am a masculine person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm not super feminine, nothing like that. But again, I got my qualities. But with my qualities I do have, I embrace them. I mean, I ain't gonna shy away from them. I ain't gonna hide them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna embrace my thing. I'm gonna do I'm gonna live my life because it's my life. You know what I'm saying? I got my certain qualities. I'm gonna do. They sometimes gonna show through, and it is what it is. But then turn around, I can snap back to masculinity real quick if I got to, and that's how I was able to find my confidence and just accepting to what I am.
Yeah. And then it's also most just in general, social media has really took a knife and really stabbed into confidence of most young and impressionable people, because when you go on Instagram, TikTok, many different things of that nature. Of course, women, I feel like I will say I feel like women have it a lot harder for like the impressions they see on Instagram and all this different stuff because as soon as they go into like say we go into a influencer or a models thing that has a BBL and all this stuff done, and then you go in the comments. In some of those comment sections, you'll see men that actually like that, and then say like anything else. It's like young, impressionable men who just think that's better. And then on the young lady's mind, it's just like they then take a step back and they won't judge you for it. But and then on the other side of it, men also do have that as well with all the fitness influencers and all the different things of that nature. And then of course the dreadheads, you know, the goatee, the mustache, the beard combo, the different things of that nature. They feel like they don't have that, they're not gonna get no girls, different things like that. Or if they don't have money, they're not gonna get anybody. Like no one's gonna mess with them if they don't got money. A Hellcat, SRT Trackhawk, any of that. They think
Yeah,
they don't got that, they're not gonna get anywhere. And it's that's the wrong crowd, I feel like, because I don't know. I'd rather not be around a crowd that feel like money is king or money is everything in life. And if I don't have a Hellcat or I'm not, or if I'm not a scammer at the age of 18, that I'm not doing well in life, that I'm not doing good. I'm never gonna feel that way. And I'm glad that my confidence has really just managed to push by that, because to this day I'm not a scammer. Still never will scam. Don't got a Hellcat though, but I'm never gonna scam. But it's I just feel like social media imprints a lot on this younger generation. And now that the even the younger generation, like the my little brother and little sister and all this different stuff like that, it imprints on them too. Thankfully, it hasn't imprinted on their like view of themselves, thankfully. But my little brother, for example, he's watched a lot of football videos, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, he's watching a whole lot of videos. He wants to get better. Nah, he just wants to go out there and look cute doing the celebrations, doing it. And then it's just like the it's just social media has really taken this world and flipped it upside down,
it
because we get him we get him out to football because we need to teach him that you can't just go out there and look cute on the field and think you're gonna get famous. We have to teach him that this is hard work. Like this is football. Niggas go down over this. You're not gonna go out there and start doing a dance and think you all that. You're gonna go out there and get hit. But now he doesn't like the hard work, so he's got to make a choice if he wants to keep watching those videos or he wants to actually do football. But social media is really it's left a lasting impact that I feel like it's only going to get worse from here unless someone puts a stop to it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I just had a similar situation with my little brother too, in a way, where it's definitely like in terms of self confidence, it definitely has like while it's hit girls harder, it definitely has hit guys a good little bit too. Because like for example, like my little brother, he's trying to do football too and everything like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He like with him, it's like I'm the one that's taking it under my liberty, like take him out of the field, do some routes with him, really train him up and everything because I had more history of football. So it's like,
Right.
I had him out in the field, but it's like, I'm having to do some routes, everything like that. But the main thing he's trying to get to is like trying to do all the one-handed catches every time. The one every time that he's be seeing in the videos, he's trying to do like the one-handed catches all the time. He's trying to do all that. I'm
Yeah.
telling him, like, catch the ball with two hands. Cause like you trying to do an Odell, you trying to do what you see in the videos, trying to hit a gritty right after you hit that one-handed catch, you gonna get popped. And I'm gonna be laughing at you when you in the game, you try to hit a one-handed catch and you looking all crazy because you getting put on the
Got popped.
sideline, do all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
it's really
just
get caught up in the semantics of stuff with social media. I definitely say.
yeah. So because unfortunately, social media is going to be here for a considerable long time, but people need to realize that this world thrived before social media came about. So all this content creation, and I know I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go off script a little bit if that's cool with you. If not, just stop me right now. But
Mhm.
social media, people they don't they don't put their lives on social media. They put social media in their lives. Like everything has got to be a video. Just cooking, daily routine. I'm fine with the daily routine videos and the cooking and all that, this and that, and whatever. But it's just now every date I see is like filmed and everything has got to be sexualized. Like everything has got to have some freaky element to it, freaky tone. Like you've seen the crazy 20v1 videos. Y'all both know what be happening on those videos, but it's like this stuff doesn't need to be on the internet. Like this is basically like it's just basically porn. And it's not even on the site that it's supposed to be on. And it's
Mm,
just like what's going on?
yeah, this definitely it kind of
This world
linking
is so
that.
crazy right now.
Yeah, linking that to everything too with the confidence too. It's like it can really impact a guy's confidence. Where I've seen it, it can really impact a guy's confidence. Where like in the 20v1 videos, you know what I'm saying? Like how you say it can be sexualized, right? Obviously, to every to all to one thing they like to liking anybody. There's always gonna be a sexual element to it, but it's like when it's hypersexualized, that's when it becomes a problem, right? And
Yeah,
with the 20v1 videos, what I've seen some guys be like is like they trying to change their whole personality to match the guys they see in them videos. Because you'll see some videos where it's like the guy, he can look at a girl up and down, lick his lip a little bit, give a little smile, and maybe she talking about, oh, what you gonna do to me? You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do to me? What you gonna put me like, everything like that, you know? And they be putting in a guy's head, be on some, oh, I gotta try and be like that to get a girl. I gotta be like that. If I ain't like that, then I ain't doing it right, you know what I'm saying? And it can definitely build it's very easy to build a false image, you know? On the girls' end, for a girls' end, they can get a false image because they want to get a BBL, they want to get their lips plump, they want to get this, they want to get that. You know what I'm saying? On the guys' end, it's easier. With them, it's not the fact they feel like they got to change their body, but it's more so the fact they got to change their personality. You know what I'm saying? They got to
yeah,
change the way they act, they got to change the way they talk, the way they walk. And to growing up and changing, there is obviously an element of change. Now, don't think you're gonna stay the same your whole life. You know, embrace your own personality, but still be open to change. But don't be feeling like you have to change your own personality just to embrace yourself. You know, and don't
because
be
that's
like, yeah, do all that.
that's crazy because if you really don't want to, like some people would just do it just to get girls, and it's like, of
Yeah.
course, there's an element to you that be like, yeah, I want to change. I want to be better for myself. But if you want to change your whole personality, like say I cut off my hair, get waves, just do all this. I start scamming, I start doing all this, get money, all this and that. I'm not gonna keep up that life forever. You can't keep up that fake face forever in that facade. And
Mhm.
at a time, you're gonna get tired of it. You're gonna snap, you're gonna break, and everything is gonna go down the drain. And you have the rest of your life to go through. Like sometimes I wonder if they think about the consequences of this like crazy stuff they do on these videos. And then after something like this doesn't work out, what's the plan? Because most corporate jobs wouldn't take you after seeing something like that. The thing about the internet is once something is up there, it's always up there. Once you think it's deleted and archived, Instagram still keeps hundreds of deleted and all that. And we saw, and even on TikTok, if something is deleted, TikTok even says agency or a police department or anything of that nature needs that content, they will pull out that for that agency. And it's like it's everywhere. It's not gonna go away. Like everyone just seen that happen to you, and it's crazy that they don't think about the consequences of this as well. And then it's just gonna if something doesn't happen, this is gonna become the new normal for generations and generations to come and come and come, and it's just gonna get really bad for us societally, economically, and just as a society in general.
Yeah, it's really a big element of it. So it's definitely like it all in the end it really does just impact the confidence of a guy because you just feel as if you're not enough all the time. You feel like you gotta be more of this, more of that. You feel like you gotta try and be the Duke Dennis of your group. You gotta feel like you gotta try and be the funniest in the group. You gotta feel like you gotta try and be this, gotta be trying to be that. And then all those coupled on top of the fact that you gotta try and feel strong all the time too. You gotta try and feel as if you're like you that guy, you gotta, you know what I mean? Because you may be having those thoughts you're not enough. But then turn around, you get back home in the crib. Then all of a sudden, you gotta try and hold strong because maybe y'all hurting financially. You know, your little brother going through some stuff, so you gotta try and hold strong for him. You got a little sister, you gotta try and keep safe from this and that. You know, if you can live in a hard situation, maybe you gotta keep your siblings safe from all this different type of stuff. You gotta keep them out the streets or doing this and that. But at the same time, you thinking in your meantime, dang, I ain't even enough of a man as a man. You know, I gotta try and get more of this. I gotta try and get more money. I gotta try and get a Hellcat. I gotta try and get this. I gotta try and get that. I gotta get tatted up every single time, you know? It's never a problem to want material objects, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be lying if I said if someone would offer me $1 million, but I'm taking that in a heartbeat. I don't give a damn.
Right then and there.
Look,
It's
I'm
my
taking
money.
that shit.
Same.
But at the same time, don't make that everything you don't make it as if that's your only like goal, you know what I'm saying? Like don't, and it's I guess especially as a guy too. It's like it maybe especially if a girl is your motivation to want to do certain things. That's cool, you know. I'm a girl, you know what I'm saying. I want certain things when it comes to girls, right? It's never a problem. Never treat it as if that's a weakness, you know what I'm saying. Like you never have that mindset where it's like, oh, one of your girls is a weakness. Want to do this and that for women is a weakness. No, I mean you gonna want to do that. It's cool, but never make that your whole thing. Like for me, like I love it, boy. I love it if it's like I'm doing amazing in life and Megan the stallion herself, the queen stallion herself, swiping my story saying, "Oh, you're looking good." Boy, my heart would stop in a heartbeat. Boy, it's like, I slide with the swiftness. But that's not my only motivation for doing things in life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
And
that's
then
what it is.
I
And
just I just really wish that some, of course, the 20v1s and everything like that, they go viral because of how crazy they are. And then that's the thing that that leaves an impression on young men. I just wish that more constructive content would be out there and get more of a lasting impression on young men so it can help them with their confidence and really help them mold them into the man they want to be.
that would definitely be really over that, really. So then I got a last few more questions then. So then I know one question here that I had too was this is a simple question. It's similar to it's similar to like kind of on the line of relationship stuff with guys. Do guys catch feelings easily?
For me, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, see, yeah, I'd say it's pretty easy for me to catch feelings. I caught feelings for my girl really fast because, after hanging out for a bit, my mind just gets to racing, and I'm just like thinking, my imagination is just like, I wonder how nice we would look married. I wonder how nice we would look in a big house, a lot of kids and all this and that. But then, of course, that could also be a downside as well if you fall for a girl easy because she might not be what you think she is. She might just be putting up a facade for you, and that goes both ways. To be honest with you, can't fall. You fall for someone real easy, you'll ignore all the red flags, and then that's one you'll just think like, oh, I can get over that, I can, but you don't realize that you want to be with this person and your heart's just pumping, so you're just like enjoying the thrill of the moment. So you're just like really thinking like, hey, I'll skip these red flags for now. This will all be fine, but it's not going to be fine.
Yeah, that's how you end up in a situation getting baby trap, baby mama drama. hmm Me, I'd definitely say, yeah, I'll say it's easy for a guy to catch feelings. I mean, yeah, well, I'll be lying if I said that a girl, like, shoot, actually, a good example. It was like this one, actually, this is a good example. Like, it was like over, I don't know, I think it was like orientation. Yeah, it was my summer orientation. Coming to like coming to college, right? I think I just been doing my thing for orientation. I was staying at the campus for like a few days, right? Doing my thing, living life. There's one girl, right? Light skinned girl, right? Real pretty and everything like that. Amazing smile, boy, flawless smile, everything, right? And I think she was real cool, everything like that, right? And I think we were like chatting up a little bit, everything. We were chatting up a little bit and everything. We was like conversating, everything like that, cool and all that type of stuff, right? I'd be lying if I said that a moment that she really caught my attention, my heart started beating like crazy. It was like one time I think I think it was the fact that she just conversated with me. The fact that we were just talking for like 3, 4 hours. We was talking for like a long time, just back to back conversation, no stop, no nothing. Is the fact that it's just something as simple as that was what had me think in my head, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, it had me like taking a back for a second. 'Cause I was like, oh, ooh. I had to kind of put myself back in the situation for a moment, because it was definitely a situation where it's like stuff like that, where I can definitely say on the guy's end, it's sometimes the simplest stuff that can have me falling for a girl sometimes. Or at least
Right.
not, I'm not gonna say falling, but it can definitely be the simplest stuff that has me like thinking, okay, then I'm out to kind of like keep an eye on her, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, one thing, what I call it as, I classify this, I look at it in this exact order with any girl that I look at, right? Brains, booty, and but wait, no, no, beauty, brains, butt. That's what I call it. 3B.
Be
Yep.
brains
When I look at a girl, I'm looking, okay, is she pretty? Okay, face, cool. Is she smart? Okay, cool. She got a butt? Hey, S tier, let's go. Now I'm looking
Okay, cool.
yeah, that's at least my criteria. I mean, look, I'd be lying if I said that's my criteria. At least, like I look at because me we're people. Me people will look at things. You're not gonna be looking at nothing against people. Nothing. Not saying that people are blood ugly, but there are people that are less facially gifted. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I'm super good looking or nothing, but I'm saying there are people that's like make a look a little bit more busted up looking. No one's gonna want to get with the ugly person. We all say that. Everyone there is everyone for somebody, no matter what, no matter how you look at it. So never take it as that as if never take it as a situation where if you think you look ugly, no one's gonna want you. No, there's always gonna be someone for everybody. And not someone that's less, but someone that is truly for you, no matter how you look. Okay. But I'll definitely say that everyone looks are subjective to everybody like that. They can be like, for example, I've met girls where they would die for Michael B. Jordan. Then I met other girls that said he was butt ugly. I mean, it's all subjective when it comes to looks.
Yeah,
So
right. And then
yes,
also, my bad, Cam. I didn't mean to cut you off, but what you call it? I don't like when some people say, looks mean nothing. It's all about your personality and many different things of that nature. And I'm just sitting here like, whoa, of course, looks are not the main end all be all goal for somebody. But for someone to even really, for a man to even really like go up to talk to you, he has to be attracted to you, at least something, and
mhm,
they have to at least want to give you the time of day. And if they don't want to give you the time of day, you're not going to be able to show them the qualities that they really want to see. So I'd say my girlfriend attracted me as soon as I walked in that classroom. Boy, I was whew, in freshman year, I seen her. I was like, she's really cute. I want to go talk to her. But then COVID happened, so I was like, damn, I'm not gonna see her again. But then when I seen her in my history class, I was, whew, she was there. She talked to me, and I felt for her very fast because when we first came back, it was like when people seen dreadheads and when the whole trend started, it's like, oh he oh, oh he got multiple girls, he finna play me and many different things of that nature. And that's why a lot of people was just like, Jordan, we don't really want to, or most around the time most people were like, Jordan, we don't really want to associate with you much because you probably got multiple girls on the side. I was like, okay, you know what, I'm not even gonna argue with you. And then I went to my girl, and she was actually talking to me like I was a person. Like, we were chopping it up, we were flirting, we went on a couple dates, and then we started going out. But that's really the reason I fell for her hard, is because she treated me like I was some person and not just someone that was there to play in her face.
yeah. So I definitely, yeah, really, that is the end where it's like, yeah, for guys to catch your feelings. For a girl, it's like especially when I have some girls where I have some friends, they'll be saying like, Cam, how can I get this guy to like me? Like, oh, is he gonna try to do this, that, those, these? I'm like, no, no, no. All you gotta do is like it can be something as simple as just talking with him sometimes, having a nice heart-to-heart conversation with him, just acknowledging him in certain ways sometimes, and he gonna be head over heels for you. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Only
yeah, looks. Again, my mentality is like, again, looks are subjective to everybody, but in the end, there's a good chance I might be waking up next to you in the bed one day. And if I look up and if I wake up and I look at you and I jump like, ooh, like if I get scared when I look at you in the bed, it's a problem. You know what I'm
there's a
saying? Like,
problem.
if I gotta wake up next to you in the bed one day, I want to be able to wake up to you, look over and be like, oh, she look beautiful. And not look over and think, who the hell is this next to me in the bed when your makeup come off or something? There's that element to stuff.
Yeah, it's always something like that. But hey, y'all boys, sorry to let y'all know, I'm gonna have to drop right now. Cam, it was nice coming on your show, man. I hope I can come back someday too.
Yeah, for sure.
Malachi, it was nice meeting you, bro. I guess I'll see you again sometimes. But y'all both take care. Have a great weekend.
All of it, man. I see you. But yeah, so till then, I got another question for us, Malachi, and everything. I got another question. So the next question, man, here, because I know you was quiet for a good little minute too. So I was wondering if you was going to like chime in for anything. But here's a good question right here that I had. The good question, right? It was like, what's let me see what it was. Oh yeah, how do you feel when people tell girls when you, ooh, I lost my words. How do you feel when people tell girls can't do this and boys can't do this? How do you feel like, yeah, when like girls, when people say like, oh, this is a boy thing, and this is a girl thing definitively?
I mean, I would say like it's all based on perspective. Like it's kind of going back to what we were saying with the with like the whole like getting manicures and pedicures and stuff. Like sometimes it's just like it's a deal where it's like it's self care. And you're doing it for the betterment of yourself. And in that case, it would be like it's just fine. In my eyes, it's just fine because you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of somebody else. You're doing it for them. And I mean, like, I'm sure there are some things that are kind of like definitively like, maybe a man shouldn't do this, or maybe a girl shouldn't, try to do this. Like, you're not going like a dude's not gonna walk into a lady's bathroom. It's a lady's bathroom. Like that's ladies walk in the ladies' bathroom, men walk in the men's bath. Like that's kind of just like that's a thing. But like,
Mhm.
I feel like we shouldn't let gender limit us to the things that we want to do, as long as it's not illegal.
Yeah.
Like we shouldn't place those limitations on ourselves just because we're gender. Like, I know a bunch of people, a bunch of girls who say like, they want to get into like construction work and stuff. Like people say that's like a man's job, but if they want to do it, it's entirely their choice to do it, and they can pursue that. And I'm gonna respect them all the same.
That's really what it is. Yeah, I definitely say like this limits everything. There's always a limit to like saying, oh, this is a girl thing, this is a guy thing. There's definitely like a certain limit sometimes with stuff. Like as hard as it like I'm not gonna say it's never gonna happen because there's always a chance. Like I just recently just saw about this where like there's a girl that's actually like going to college for like football. I think she's going to NFL for like football low key, but there's definitely like you want to see that all the time, Like there's a girl that can say she wants to play football, and like, if she does, that's all cool. That's amazing by her end. But there's always a limit to it because, like, to put her in with some guys and tag football, there's a good chance she might get her head took off. You know what I'm saying? Like, not nothing against her. So, but at the same time, it's like if you can work around that limitation, do you? But I'll definitely say like when people say this is a girl's thing, this is a guy's thing. I'll definitely say like especially nowadays, it's definitely a little bit more. It's more fleshed out than just a girl and guy thing. Like it's definitely like on the guys end, like how we said, getting your nails done, doing certain things like those, having certain feminine qualities. It's easier to have that accepted now. Like I'm never one to always just say this is girl and this is guy thing. I'm never one to always say that unless it's like definitively like this for girls. Like for like maybe if I'm taking my little brother to the bathroom, if he's trying to go in the girls' bathroom, I'm like, no, girls and guys bathroom. You ain't gotta cat nothing like that. You ain't got that. You got a pill whacker. So you gotta go there. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is with that, you know what I'm saying? But as a whole, it's definitely a situation where it's like, I say it's to not let it limit you. See, if any guys that are watching you, I say not let it limit you as much. If you're a guy that likes doing dancing, I guess you like dancing, and people may say, "Oh, it's more feminine thing. Why are you trying to dance as a guy?" You know what I'm saying? Do you? You know what I'm saying? It's your life in the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like that's really what I take into account. You know what I'm saying? If you're a guy, but you're into certain things that will be seen as more feminine qualities, maybe for example, let's say you're into certain elements of fashion, right? Maybe you're a completely straight guy, but you're into certain elements of fashion, and a person will say, "Oh, that's a little bit free. Why you wearing these like heels? Why you wearing these boot heels? And you a guy in there like that, like certain things you don't let them phase you like that. While it may be hard, you don't let them change you as much because in the end, it's your life. You know what I'm saying? If it's at least especially a time where it's easier now to find a community for yourself where they say accept you as much. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's or it look we're not looking into look at inspiration from other figures. Like for example, people can say like for example, there's some guys where it's like they like getting their nails painted, like actually getting their nails painted. Me, that's not on me. That's not my type of time. But at the same time, other guys, it's to each their own. If you feel like doing that, it's all you. Because then turn around while there's people that can say, "Oh, you a guy, getting your nails painted is fruity," or everything like that. You know what I'm saying? But then you have people like ASAP Rocky. Girls love A. I've had a whole bunch of girls think ASAP Rocky, finest man in the world. He got
yeah,
Rihanna people too. And yeah, he gets his nails painted. He's a whole father and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely say it's easy to find yourself a community. Or Noah Lyle. Noah, what it is? Noah Lyles, yeah, the guy who's like running 200, like doing the 200-meter track. He's like real big in track and everything, I think. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I know him now.
When I'll throw a picture of him too. I think
I
I'm getting his name right. I don't. I think it's his name, but like Noah Lyles, right? Real cool guy and everything like that. You know, masculine, all that type of stuff. But he gets his nails painted, everything like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely like it's easy to find a community as a guy if you feel as if you feel as if as a guy you're not accepted for your certain qualities and stuff like that. If you feel like you're not accepted for those certain things that, oh, they say this is a girl and guy thing, it's much easier to find your people, to find an area where you can be accepted as, you know?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not, it's more black, it's not as black and white as things used to be, you know? There
yeah.
is a black and there is a white, but the gray area is much more fleshed out and much more bigger. Mhm.
Yeah. And Jordan, he brought up a really good point when he was here. Where he was talking about like, how social media influenced a bunch of young and impressionable people. Now, I mean, like we're 18, 19, like, we're well on our way to adulthood and we know, how to have our own identity at this point, but that might not be everyone. So I feel like it's important, as he had said, to, at least throw some sort of content out there that's going to help, like, flesh out a person coming into themselves and being comfortable with who they are, or at least knowing to some degree who they want to be, so that they can work towards that, rather than just taking their examples from all of these, streamlined uh, molds of people who like to publicize everything that happens in their lives. Because, like you said, no one's perfect and nobody's life is going to be perfect, so you don't have to try to, like, perfect yourself or what your life is like, because you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have tough times and stuff.
Yeah, so yeah, and it all can link back to like your own masculinity as a guy, where it's like in the end, no matter what people are gonna say, oh, this is a girl, this is a guy thing. People gonna challenge you for whether or not you really are a man. Your strength as a man is gonna be challenged a whole bunch, and you as a whole, you're gonna have your moments of weakness. You're gonna have moments where you need to cry, shed a tear, moments where you may be cheated on, moments where your trust is betrayed, moments where you are just strict, especially as a guy. There's a lot of moments where not discrediting girls, but definitely as a guy, there's a lot of moments you're gonna be stripped down to your bare basics. You know, you won't be torn down every sort of way. People are still gonna tell you to get up and keep on walking because as a guy, you're supposed to be holding strong. So, and in the end, as a guy, it's you gotta have that mental fortitude. Honestly, it is as plain and basic as it may be. You have to have that mental fortitude to just be able to say, "Hey, despite me hurting, I got to be able to push on." But in you saying that, you still have to have certain things set up in place that even though you're going to push on, still have something set in place to where, you have a checkpoint. You have a place where maybe you can refill up on some gas and revitalize yourself so you can keep on pushing on even further, Like think of like a road trip where it's like as a girl, you may be going on like yeah, think of like a road trip where like as a girl, you may have multiple tanks. You may be riding and you have multiple tanks of gas in your trunk. So even if you do run out of gas, you can still refill again and again and again. And let's say you run out of gas completely and you're stranded on the side of the road, you can find someone to hitchhike with and you can ride along with them for a little while. Or you'll be more likely to find that as a person. And
Yeah,
then you can find a place to refill your car up and go get some more gas to refill. But as a guy, when you're on that road trip, you maybe only have two tanks of gas in your trunk. Once those run out, there's a good chance that once you run on E, no one's gonna let you in their car to help you get a ride. You maybe gotta walk a whole mile to go and get some gas yourself. Or as a guy, you may have to end up pushing that car while it's on neutral. You had to push that car by yourself all the way to that next gas station, and no one's gonna help you out. Again, as it's a harsh reality, but it's how it is as a guy. I can't even say, but at the same time, it's like there's a positive. Like I said, there's a positive and a negative to it. You have to deal with those issues, yes, and it's never fair that you have to deal with it all the time. But in the end, it can build you up strength because in the end, as a guy, if you can really work those things and you know how to properly vent out your feelings, you know how to properly grow as a person, you know how to properly accept those different elements of yourself. You know how to work through these different things in life, then it would truly like very heavily impact you as a person. It would definitely have
exactly.
some very, very good effects in the end. Or it can really build you up in the long run. So then in the end, by the time you're grown and everything like that, there'll definitely be a day and age where you will look back and you'll realize just how much growth you had as a guy because you realize, hey, sure, I was struggling, but I made it through. I pushed through. I worked through my issues. I put in that hard work. I took the moments to cry. I took the moments to find a person to find solitude in. But in the end, I worked it through. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely
Yeah,
that's a very easy guy. So then, as a
definitely.
whole, I got like one last. Oh, you had something to say?
No, you good.
Okay. Then I think this is about the last question I had, and I think that could be a nice little way to wrap up stuff. And then, the last question I had was, let me see, what was the question is, and this okay, this is the fun, this is the fun, oh yeah, this is definitely linking back to the stuff on cheating and catching feelings and stuff like that. The last one is, I think, because this is definitely a big thing when it comes to guys sometimes too. How do y'all know when y'all are in love?
All right. I'm sure it's different for other people, but speaking from personal experience, the main thing that makes me that really tells me I got feelings for this person is that I'm gonna catch myself thinking about them and doing like the most random stuff. Like I could be like making myself some breakfast and then I'll just like think back to a conversation we had or something like, this reminds me of the time that me and so were talking. And
Yeah,
I just find myself having that recurring thought of them throughout the day, no matter what it is I'm doing. Like I clearly want to give time out of my day to think about them and maybe go see them and talk to them and stuff like that. And that starts to make me feel like, maybe I'm feeling this person.
yeah, it's definitely like that. Like I definitely say on mine, it's definitely a situation where, yeah, I mean, I've been in love before. Yeah, I've been in love. And with it, at least on mine, I'll definitely say, as a guy, you're in love when there's nothing in you that says I gotta stay strong with this person. You're in love when you can talk with girl or guy, whoever it is. You can talk with them, you can be around them, but you feel completely vulnerable and you're not scared about it. And it's hard to do. It's real hard to do. That's why, like, if a guy gets cheated on or if his trust is betrayed, it's such a big deal because you don't always let people in like that.
Yeah,
But it's definitely the type of thing where it's like, if you're in love, you definitely feel in your soul where it's like, hey, this person is everything to me. I will ride, I will die for this person, I will fight for this person, I'll go to hell and back for this person. I'll do whatever I got to do for them. And when you're in love as a guy, it's definitely a situation. It's similar to how a girl may feel, but there's definitely definitive differences with it where it's like, all those different walls you had built up, they all can get torn down by that one person. You know what I'm saying? Or it'll be a situation where, if you're in love with, like, to just give reference, if you're in love with this girl, you don't, if you have them feminine qualities, you're not scared of showing them. Or you're
exactly.
constantly thinking on how can I get better with this person? How can I better be better to this person? How can I better supply for them? How can I better be there for them in some way? If anything, how can I be that rock for them?
Mhm.
Yeah, especially that's another thing too. If you truly do love a person, as a guy, if you truly do love a person, it's definitely a type of thing where even when you're on your last tank of gas, even when you're on your last dollar, you're on your last stand, you're on your last straw, you still want to push that person. You still want to do everything in your power to keep that person going. And you don't want to show them that weakness. You're not scared to show them that weakness, but you don't want to show them that weakness. You don't want them to see you cry because they're crying and you want to keep them up. You don't care
Exactly.
about yourself. You care everything about them. And love as a guy, I mean, this type of love doesn't just have to apply for if you dating somebody. It can apply for a sibling, for a friend. If you truly do love a friend, you feel like you just want to go to the ends of the earth for them.
Exactly.
If you love your sibling, you feel like especially with a sibling, especially with a little sibling, like my little brother, I love him. I love him. As much as that little church, as much as that little failed abortion, as much as he gets my nerves. Look, I love him to death. I fight, I ride, and I die for him. As much as I sometimes wish, this because there's been some times where I just be thinking, if only that umbilical cord is caught around his neck, just sometimes I be thinking it. But and I love him nonetheless. I really do love him with everything in me, and I'm glad he's in my life. As much as I want to throw him across the room and bash his head in, because if I piss off, he'll get me. I can never lay a hand on him like that. I definitely have punched him sometimes, but I can never want to truly hurt him as a person, as if you love somebody, especially on the guy's end. Or another thing with the guy, if you love somebody, you'll definitely realize that if you're playing around, even if you're roughhousing with them, you'll realize just how much physical strength you pull back from them. That's one thing that's specific to guys. Where like, if it's a girl that I truly do am starting to care and love for, or a sibling or a family member I truly do love, I'll recognize that if we're roughhousing, we're playing around, I'll pull back so much of my strength to it feels like as almost if I can't get any stronger with them because there's nothing in me that wants to use that much strength that could accidentally, unintentionally hurt them. And if I do accidentally hurt them, I feel that much worse of myself. And I'm like, oh my God, I gotta watch my strength more often. I gotta watch myself more often because I don't want to hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like, yeah, it's a whole being a guy in general, especially in today's world. There's a lot of elements to it. I'll definitely say it's not as black and white as it used to be. You take it back a few generations, and agree and like disagree with me if you do think it's different, Malachi, but like take it back beforehand, maybe back a few years ago, even when our parents were younger, it was a bit easier to say, oh yeah, as a guy, you're supposed to be the breadwinner, you're supposed to stay strong, you're supposed to do your thing, you're supposed to be that, you're supposed to be that nigga, right? You're supposed to be
Yeah.
him. It's easy to say that when it was then. But then nowadays, because there's so many different paths of masculinity that are opened up now for men, you don't have to just be going off to war and doing your thing. You don't have to just be the breadwinner. You can do different things like that. It's so much more so many things are more widely accepted that it's much easier for a guy to feel so much less self-confidence because there's so much more confusion with it.
Yeah.
Because of all, yeah, it's definitely it's almost like we're drowning in success in a way. With guys, there's definitely many more. There's definitely a much larger. There's much more ways that it can go. It can definitely grow much more. But it's almost as if, in a way, guys are in a way drowning in the success that the people are accepting different elements of masculinity more and more.
Yeah.
There's definitely elements in it, but yeah, it's almost like we got so many pathways that it's easier to be confused. It's easier to not know which way to go, which path to take, which type of man do you think you're gonna be when you get older, when you're growing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
But
that's
the bottom line of it is like, we faced different problems back then. That's what it was. And so it's like, it was like it was one thing back then where it was like, oh, the man's got to be the big, strong, tough one, and go out and make the money and come back to their wife. And I mean, like to some extent, that's still what's going on now. But like, now there's so many more elements in it. Like the topics we discussed today. You gotta, how's the man doing? Are they loving themselves the way that they love their wife and their family? Are they, confident in who they are? And are they just how are they? I feel like that's the question that everyone should leave with after this. Like, if you got to do it in your life, whether that be your homie, your sibling, your mom, your dad, or like your boyfriend or something, like, just ask them how they're doing. It's men's mental health month for today and tomorrow. So, just take some time and check up on them.
Yeah, it's really a big thing. Yeah, always, do it for everybody, but especially for a guy. Sometimes if you got a friend, your daddy, your grandfather, like I said, anybody else, yeah, ask a guy how are they is something that could really go a long ways. Sometimes it can just be a reminder that they're loved because one thing about you gotta remember is that male suicide is one of the biggest things. It's a very, very big thing. If anything, I've had in the past. There was a time in life I had my thoughts on it, and that we'll tackle those things in a whole other video later on. But there's definitely a time in my life where I had those thoughts and motives with stuff and everything. And it's a thing where sometimes simply asking, hey, just putting your hand on the shoulder, be like, hey, you okay? Yeah, you good? Sometimes it's just giving a simple, hey, you're loved. It can go a long ways for a guy. because guys don't get that all the time, you know? It's the reason why it's sometimes so easy for a guy to like a girl sometimes because they don't always receive that love. It's so much easier for a man to receive hatred or sternness than actual love compared to how it is with the girls, you know? Sometimes that little how you doing, that little I love you, that little hug or whatever it can go such a long ways that you may not even know about because as a guy we don't want to show it all the time. Some may, and if you do show that, then good on you. You're already on the right path to having a safe mental health space with yourself. But with a lot of other guys, they don't show all the time, and it comes out in different ways. They vent it out in different ways. Like how in past videos, I've talked about how I've vented out my different insecurities and different struggles through being a hoe or through having my so many different insecurities, then not feeling like I was enough and doing this and thing, doing different things like that, you know, comparing myself to people all the time. To other guys I've met, they have the different feelings of like they feel like they gotta try and change themselves. They feel like they gotta get tatted up more and more where all or almost every time I talk with them, they're talking about different ways they want to change themselves as a guy. And you know, it's definitely something that has to be taken seriously in a way. You know, you don't not too seriously because you don't want to be too serious in life, but is there something that should be taken with such a grain of salt that's taken with nowadays? Because guys have feelings too. We don't show all the time, but we have a very broad range of feelings we don't show all the time because it's how life has been for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as a whole, though, I think that's a nice little way to leave off with the video and everything like that. I think we got real good with this men's mental health topic today. We got a good few questions and everything like that, and I feel like we definitely tackled a good few different areas that we got deep into, in terms of like just how guys see things, obviously like how girls see things compared to guys, and the different things that we got to deal with in our lives and everything. And there definitely will be a future video where I'll do some more with this stuff because there's definitely certain elements we could have gone deeper into that I didn't get as deep into, obviously, because we got stuff we got to work around with and everything. Got to leave some stuff for the table, you know what I'm saying? But as a whole, though, hopefully, for whatever guys watching this video at least felt like it gave you some sort of substance, you know what I'm saying? It gave you something to feel as if you're not alone in this world, you know what I'm saying?
Some closure.
Yeah, gave you a little bit something. So as a whole, like give you a little outro.
Hey, well, hey, I'm from Malachi. You guys saw Jordan, you guys saw Bryce, you guys saw Cam. Thanks again for having me. I hope to be on here again. It's always fun to come and sit and talk. So, hey, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, like I said, whether you young or old, whether you black or white, whether you weird or weirder, just know. I said that weird. Let me say. Whether you young or old, whether you black or white, whether you weird or weirder, just know there's a place for you. This is Mind Zoomers. This is a safe space. This is your people. And happy Men's Mental Health Month. And keep on doing your thing, guys. If you're working hard, keep on working hard, and hopefully find people that acknowledge you work hard. Because just know we know what y'all doing. Just know you got our support. You got a whole bunch of other people's support too. So. Hopefully y'all have a good day, and I will see y'all in this video. All right.
Some love, y'all.